What's up, everyone out there in internet land, and welcome to a special emergency podcast edition, episode 470 of The Straight Shooters, available wherever podcasts are found. My name is Vaughn Johnson, and I'm joined as always by my main man, Pots and Pans, Nick Bacone of Crossing Broad, and we have a special guest in the building for this special emergency podcast edition of The Straight Shooters. It is the good brother Roy Burton of PHLY to talk about another WWE champion. I feel like we just did this 9 days ago, 10 days ago. Oh, wait, we did. It was Sami Zayn. And now, as we sit here today, the new WWE undisputed champion or undisputed WWE champion, however they call it, is CM Punk. We're going to talk all about it here on a special edition of The Straight Shooters. But before we get into anything else, I got to do my weekly check-in with my main man, Pots and Pans. I guess it's not weekly because we're, popping in more than once this week. But my main man, Pots and Pans, Nick, how are you on this lovely Tuesday evening, my good brother?
I mean, it's lovely compared to the past week of like 105 degree temps, but yeah,
yes,
it's a little cooler, so I'm a little bit happier. And hey, listen, things are going on in wrestling, so I guess they don't want to be boring. I guess they want to compete with the World Cup somehow. But I'm glad you called it an emergency podcast, as I was going to ask. What is there like a statute of limitations on using the term emergency pod? Like, does it have to be within 24 hours? Is it like 48 hours? Like, is there?
I mean, it's emergency.
It feels like it does feel like an emergency podcast for us. But then I feel like I've had all day to like think about it. So I'm just like,
that's fair.
I've had like different thoughts. It's kind of funny how things change even from hour to hour after like something happens that. We expected some chicanery, tomfoolery, stuff like that coming out of Raw, but they kind of went like a different way than I think most of us thought in terms of how they got there. So I can't wait to dive into that.
Yeah, let's dive into it. And also, we got to talk about the star of the show is Nick Bacone today.
Yes,
because we are one day after he has been featured in a recent edition of the Philadelphia Inquirer, courtesy of Matt Breen, writing a feature-length, enterprise story, as we would call it.
This is for Matt Breen, by the way.
Yeah.
No, this is for you. That's for you, brother. That's for you.
That is the man.
Well, shout out to Matt Breen, who's also a big wrestling fan. So there is that. So
should get him on the pod sometime. Would he be interested?
We should.
Yeah.
Matt, if you're listening, I could just hit him up in Slack or something. Talk to him through the podcast. I could just hit him up. But, Philadelphia Inquirer, we did a story about our boy Nick Bacone here. The headline, Philly radio calls give, quote, goosebumps. Give him, quote, goosebumps. Then he shares those chills with everyone on social media. And the subhead, Nick Bacone's hustle after every game gives a radio broadcast a new life, allowing Scott Fransky's words to be reheard again and again. Quote, it's flattering, says the Phillies radio voice. Scott Fransky. That's who said that. Scott Fransky said it's flattering.
That is wild. I didn't know Matt was talking to him for this piece either. So when I saw some Scott quotes and then saying he appreciates what Nick does, I was like meme where I'm like pointing at myself like I just got drafted or something.
Me?
I was like, me? So that was awesome. Matt did a great job. I'm glad Fransky loves it like that, or likes it. I don't know if he loves it. Maybe he likes it, but I'm not going to put words in his mouth, right? But it's really cool. I remember us talking about it on the podcast years ago when the Phillies World Series run ended, and I remember we were so busy because of that run, and then we finally were able to sit down and record a podcast after about like a month, and we talked a lot about the Phillies run and a lot about like posting the radio calls and stuff, and it's just funny how, that kind of kick-started, at that time where I just felt like I got to do this. Like, this is my thing now. Even though I was doing it before, but like that really cemented it where it's like, I got to do this. Like,
yeah,
felt like a calling almost. So I'm very appreciative of the kind words of everybody, you especially Vaughn and Roy as well. People at 97.5 that reached out, even WIP reached out, like just a lot of Philly media people, like very appreciative, and the people that appreciate what I do, I'm always just thankful for that.
You can go check out the story right now, Inquirer.com. Beautifully written by Matt Breen, one of our best reporters, by the way, Matt Breen. But,
absolutely.
Nick Pacone got featured in the Inquirer, my workplace, which I had nothing to do with this story, by the way, just for the record.
He did not.
Nick told me about it. I didn't know about it. Nobody told me anything. Nobody at my job told me anything. Nobody at work said, hey, we're doing a story about your homie. No, Nick told me. There goes that. There goes that communication. But again, go check it out, Inquirer.com. Roy, how are you, my good brother?
I am doing well because I was able to get the last copy of said Sunday Inquirer at my local Acme to pick up the Picone story. So I am doing pretty well, my friend.
Did I wake up at 6:30 a.m. and go to Wawa Sunday morning? Maybe.
I feel really bad. I did not get a copy of the paper. I've been working on the social media aspect of it. I did not get a copy of the actual physical copy of the paper. I can look into this though. I can probably get.
You know some people. You know some people.
Yeah, I know. I can maybe pull a string or two. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Nice.
But all right, let's dive into the news of the day, which of course is CM Punk returning to WWE for the first time since WrestleMania. He lost his World Heavyweight Championship to Roman Reigns. He's on Raw the next night, and then we don't see him again until last night on Raw, where he makes a surprise return, obviously unannounced, but in a surprising capacity. Of course, we had the advertised championship match between Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes, but Gunther said Cody Rhodes can't wrestle tonight. And because of that, Adam Pearce, who is running Raw and SmackDown now, and of course he's the GM of Raw primarily, he has to find a last-minute replacement. Where can he find a replacement in Chicago, man? Like the last minute who would make sense. Wow, where does he go? It's, of course, CM Punk. And CM Punk, who they don't announce throughout the entire show, they keep it a secret, the worst kept secret in wrestling. Everybody knew who it was because they're obviously in Chicago or the suburbs of Chicago. He comes out, and he and Sami Zayn have an incredible match in front of a hot crowd. And at the end of it, CM Punk, almost 15 years to the day since he last won the WWE Championship I guess when he first won it, I should say, not last, when he first won it in Money in the Bank in Chicago, he does it again in Chicago once again in 2026. And he is now the new WWE champion. The first time he's held that title since 2013, I think, was when he lost to The Rock at the Rumble after winning it in late 2011. So it's been a while that he's been WWE champion. He's been world champion a couple times, but first time in a long time that he's been WWE champion. And now things look different as far as the WWE championship picture. I want to kick it to you guys. Roy, I'll start with you. Was this the right call to have CM Punk beat Sami Zayn on Raw like this? Was this the right call by WWE?
So
also, did you enjoy this? Also, I should say that too.
Yeah. First of all, they had a fantastic match. They had a humper. They had a really good match on Monday night. I'm a little bit conflicted about this, right? Because again, it was a great match. Two great guys gave you 20, 30, whatever minutes in the ring. Again, I think that was the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, that they said that title was defended on a Raw in like 5+ years or something, some crazy number. And I love title matches on Raw. Like, give me title matches on Raw. Give me title matches on SmackDown, right? Like, all that stuff kind of, I like all that stuff. I just don't know the story they're trying to tell, and I don't know what the purpose of having Sami Zayn have the belt for 9 days was. Like, did you need to have the belt? I think, like, the end goal, right? I think we all know. The end goal is to have Cody versus CM Punk in SummerSlam. And I think that's been the end goal for a while, right?
We think.
Cody had the belt. Right? Cody could have just kept the belt, and then you could have just had CM Punk, win a number one contenders match last night or whatever, and kind of get to the same ending at SummerSlam. I just don't know what the story was with Sami winning the belt. And granted, like, Sami winning the belt is great. Again, he's been wrestling for years, and he wins in Saudi Arabia, United Champions, and great story, all that stuff. But then to take it off of him for 9 days, like, what's the point? Like, if you want to give him a title reign, and I'm not saying you have to give him a 6-month title reign, but what is the point of giving him a title reign for 9 days if you're just going to take the belt off of him? You can give him the title reign later in the year, next year, or whatever. I just don't know. Like, I think they have an end point in mind, and I think they have a starting point, like where they start from. And the way they get to the end point is different than the way I would get to the end point. I think that's the best way for me to put it.
Nick, what did you feel about this decision? Was it the right call? Did you enjoy the match? Tell me what you're thinking right now.
Certainly enjoyed the match. I love a hot crowd, and it was, I think, the perfect place to do something like that. Obviously, but yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what the right call would dictate. I'm not mad at it though, because we've been kind of bored for a while. And no offense to Cody, but he doesn't need to have like lengthy reigns. He had like the first reign was fine. Kind of didn't really have any challengers that we thought would ever beat him. And then he lost to John Cena, a heel who turned heel. Like, that was kind of crazy. So I'm just kind of like, just entertain me at this point, because the product's been so stale for a long time now. And I'm okay with what they did. Like, even if it was the Cody winning it back and then Punk coming out, like, I would have been fine with that going into SummerSlam, just because I don't mind like the hot potato-y thing, once in a while. And I thought it was fine the way they did that. I kind of give some oomph to Night of Champions, and just not another show. Hey, something historic happened. Sami, I don't necessarily believe that's his only title reign either, because I could absolutely see him winning it again. But I also there are rumors out there that WWE doesn't see him as a big money player. It's really hard for me to believe that too, because he's main event at WrestleMania, been in that bloodline angle. He's shown what he could do and how important he is in the wrestling company. So I don't necessarily buy that. He's a nobody or anything like that. So, and I know this reign kind of lends credence to that thought, but I don't necessarily think it's his only reign. So I'm not like up in arms over it. I thought the Punk wrinkle of coming in and actually having the match instead of Cody was fine. I wasn't like, I didn't care that Gunther took out Cody. It really did nothing for me. Just Punk's return, we kind of were waiting for that, and just seeing the crowd react, all that stuff. It was just enough for me. And I think moving forward, again, title reign, somebody's first title reign doesn't always have to be the best either. So, like, you see Daniel Bryan win his first world title and he loses it because Randy Orton cashes the Money in the Bank. Like, wrestling things happen like that, Like, I just don't think Sami's done being a world champion. So maybe that's why I'm just like, yeah, I'm fine with it.
Well, for me, even if he is done, which I can easily see him never winning the title back again, I can see that happening. But even if he is done, to me, he got it. He got the title, which is, you can never take that away from him. I know some people are going to be disappointed that the title run only lasted 9 days, but if you listen to this show, and probably many others, you knew this wasn't going to be built to last. Okay, yeah. This wasn't going to be a 6-month, 8-month title run. I don't think that was ever on the table in WWE's mind. I think this was always planned to be brief. And we said on the show after he won it, if he made it to SummerSlam, he'd be lucky. We didn't think he'd be making it to SummerSlam. I was thinking he would make it to Saturday night's main event in Madison Square Garden. He didn't even make it past Chicago.
Listen, Brian Isley, the third man, kudos to him. He wanted his flowers last night. I'm sure he was texting you. He was texting me, be like, I told y'all. Like, I told you. Look. And I was like, listen, you can come on and boast if you want, but, like, he's not on. So, Brian, you're out there listening. You had your chance. Like, I mean, I guess next time you'll come on and boast anyway, but
he will
that's
anyway.
Fine. That's fine.
He won't forget.
But listen, like, hey, he was right.
He was. And, again, it wasn't like, I don't think this was like you're going out on a big limb here saying that Sami Zayn wasn't going to make it to SummerSlam. I don't think it was quite like that.
Some call it the easiest prediction of all time.
Right. I thought he was going to make it a Saturday night's main event at least, but neither here nor there. I think the fact that he won the title was a massive deal to me. Not everybody in wrestling history can say they've won the WWE Championship. He is one of those people you can never take it away from him. So, to me, again, the length of the title reign isn't as important as him winning it to begin with. Okay? And we've said that about multiple people. Kofi Kingston, give him the title. Doesn't have to hold it forever. Yeah. Just give him the title. Give him the moment. Mm-hmm. And I think Sami Zayn or WWE did a good thing by giving Sami Zayn that moment. It also provided a little bit of a shakeup on the show because we talk about in this podcast how we go weeks and weeks with watching these shows and even the PLEs and be like, well, nothing has happened. Nothing has changed. You can skip whole weeks of the show and not miss anything. Well, if you missed the last couple weeks of WWE, you would have missed a lot. And whether you think it's good or bad, okay, yeah, we can talk about that. But the bar is low at this point as far as what is good in WWE. And just having things happen is like, oh, okay, excitement, even if it doesn't make a ton of sense. And I think that goes to Roy's point. It's like, why did you do all of this, right? Like, you could have done this maybe an easier way. The same could be said about the Obafemi stuff. How did we get here? Brother. Why? Why did we do it that way? But, okay, he forgoes his championship. Cody Rhodes isn't going to forgo his championship. When he comes back from his injuries, he's going to come back demanding his title shot. So it's not like he's going to be like, I'll wait. Hell no, I want my belt back now.
He's not gonna request a Hell in a Cell match with Gunther.
No. He's not even going to look at Gunther. I need my belt. Okay. I might stomp him out real quick and I'm looking past him. Okay. I'm going to stomp him out my loafers and then go try to get the belt back. Okay. But I think just having the title switches is a good decision. It makes your product exciting for at least a couple of weeks. Is it hot-shotting? Yeah, you can say that, because they also switched to tag titles, too, which is like, wait a second. Right, like, why did you get the Street Profits the titles 9 days ago, right? So why did you do that? And now you put them back on on the Vision, just to get Maxine Dupree in the group now.
And they're still not hot, by the way. It's not like it's not a group that's on the rise anymore, and I don't know how they get back there. So it's like, well, that one feels like going backwards.
And Braun Breaker's just hanging out with the tag team titles again. It's like, what are we doing here with Braun Breaker? I don't get it. But I think going from Cody and using Sami as like a transitional champ of sorts, which is not like a horrible thing. Transitional champions are still champions. Okay? They're still champions. Mick Foley is a 3-time transitional champion. All right? Don't get it twisted. He's in the Hall of Fame. Okay?
Sami wasn't the first, and he certainly won't be the last.
He won't be the last. Transitional champions have taken place throughout. Iron Sheik, transitional champ. Who went from Bob Backlund to Iron Sheik to Hulk Hogan. It's all right. So it happens. I understand what people, if people are upset about it, I understand, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. But also going again from Sami to Punk in his hometown, you create another moment and some symmetry because it's, again, 15 years almost to the day that he won the title for the first time in Chicago. So I think it's the right decision. It created a big moment in Chicago, and I think it's seemingly a means to an end, which I think is Cody and Punk. But before we kind of dive into that, I want to ask you guys about Sami Zayn. Nick, was Sami Zayn's run, his title run, too short? Could we have extended it a little longer before he had to drop the title?
For sure. Again, we have Saturday night's main event coming up. I don't know because SummerSlam also is, and I read this earlier, like a report that WWE wanted to make SummerSlam even bigger than WrestleMania this year. So, and then again, I said the last podcast, WrestleMania has kind of lost its luster as WrestleMania, and that just adds fuel to my fire, where it's like, why do you want SummerSlam to be more important than WrestleMania? But I digress. I never saw Sami getting to that point. But yeah, I could see why people think that, and I could see why they'd be upset with it. I think 9 days is absolutely too short of a run, no matter who you are, no matter what title it is. But I don't think the issue is really Sami. Like, Gunther could have won the title at Night of Champions, and then Punk beat him, and it would have been the same thing. So I think, like, people, I don't even know if people like Sammy's character right now, but it could be
They don't.
the fact that, they're like, okay, well, WWE's finally doing something good, and then 9 days later take it away. But again, like you almost have to like, if you're watching the products, probably know this isn't going to be a long run anyway. So even though it's too short. I think everybody assumed it was going to be, and the people would just like hold out hope that maybe I'm wrong for thinking that, if they thought that. But I don't see anything wrong with like a short reign either when you're telling a story. Now I don't know what story comes out of this, and where Sammy goes from this, because again, I don't think it's like the end of Sami Zayn either. So, yeah, that's what I think about it.
All right. Roy, was this title reign of 9 days too short?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of on the Nick side of this. Like I understand, like obviously you want it to be a little bit longer so you can tell some of the story, but at the same time, I think they're kind of stuck in a little calendar issue, right? Like you got to figure out the main event of SummerSlam. Like SummerSlam's in less than 4 weeks, right? You have Saturday night's main event in 11 days. Right, so you probably have to figure out. All right, before you get to Saturday night's main event, you probably have to figure out, who's going to be in that title match, night 2 of WrestleMania or night 1, whatever night it is, of WrestleMania. So SummerSlam. So yeah, so I think they probably had to do it. Like in a perfect world, like you probably would like let this like breathe a little bit, right? You'd say, all right, Sami Zayn, fights like some undisclosed guy, for and then like if that guy wins, then he gets then he gets an actual title shot, and then
he gets
CM Punk comes out.
Chad Gable. He defends the title against Chad Gable. Or
no, I'm just saying, like even if it's CM Punk, right? CM Punk comes out, but it's like not for the title. It's for it's for a title shot if you win it, right? It's like CM Punk wins in Chicago, we'll see you at Saturday night's main event. Then the win, for the championship or something. Like you would build it out a little bit, but calendar wise, I think they were a little stuck. So I understand. I don't love 9-day title reigns, but I understand it. Before we get too far afield, I do want to just make this one point before we kind of get too deep. Sami Zayn, his opponent for last night, was announced by Nick Aldis, who was suspended.
Oh yeah.
What?
Why?
Again, why are we making things more convoluted than they need to be? Like you have Adam Pearce, like again working the phone, trying to figure out something, somebody from in Chicago to face Sami Zayn.
Well, his suspension was lifted at 9:28 p.m. Like
Adam Pearce could have just made the call to see a Punk. Like, what are we doing? I just don't understand.
Why is Nick Aldis so even there? He's on administrative leave. What are you, George Costanza? You showing up for work after you not working there anymore?
I was gonna say like Drew McIntyre is the only dude who's suspended and just shows up, and he just comes in and claymores everybody. Like Nick Aldis just shows up in his full work suit, just ready to go. It's like, oh, by the way, I'm on administrative leave, but I'm still working, and I'm ready for work. Your biggest problem. I solved your biggest problem. Like again, just tell the story in a logical way. That's all I'm asking. Like I don't ask her much. Like you want to hot shot the belt or whatever. Just make it a little bit. Make it logical. Just like the Obafemi thing. Make it logical. So it's like, all right, you know what? I like this. All makes sense on some level. But anyway, long story short, yeah, I don't have a problem with it because I get why they did it. I just don't. Again, their path from going from point A to point B to me is a little bit convoluted sometimes.
And for me, it's fresh enough to where. Listen, they could have their big SummerSlam match, Cody and Punk, and coming out of that, whoever's the champion. And to me, like you could always have Sami beat whoever it is in September or something. Like
have him win Money in the Bank or something.
I go back. I don't think it's Sami's only title run, so I still think he's going to be figured out into this as we move towards the end of the year. I could be completely wrong, honestly, and that wouldn't be the first time, and it won't be the last time. But again, I think they just want their Punk Cody match, and obviously, I guess they think it means something more when the belt's involved. Obviously, I don't know if you really need it in there, but I think we all thought Cody was going to be the champion going into a match like that too. So now you got Punk the champion. That's a little different wrinkle that Cody beats him, and then what happens? Punk's going into WrestleMania the WrestleMania main event as a world champion, and he loses, and now he's going into the SummerSlam main event, night 1 or night 2, as the other world champion. So I think he's fine. I think he's happy. Whatever. Like I don't think he's needs to feel like he needs this long ass run at his age. But that's why I think Sammy's not exactly like kicked to the side here.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Sorry.
Are we definitely getting just Punk versus Cody at SummerSlam? Because that's what it feels like. That's the direction we're heading. Even though they haven't even had Punk and Cody interact yet, like we're just guessing here.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But it's one of the bigger matches, one of the biggest matches they can do that they haven't done really yet is Punk versus Cody, the former AEW guys colliding in a big main event match. Could that seems like the big money match that you would put on at a SummerSlam, 1-on-1. But what does Sami Zayn do if that happens? Could Sami Zayn still work his way into the match? As in my eyes, he has a storyline reason, right? I don't know if they do automatic rematch clauses anymore, but he could, I guess, try to get one, right? Cody is still due a match. I don't think he's going to forego it like Obafemi. So there's a storyline path to get a triple threat out of this. The problem is they just did that at Night of Champions. And I don't see them running that back just like pretty much a month and a half later. But
yeah,
Roy, what do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't think so. Like I don't think they typically would do a 3-man for the title like back to back, PLE. So I don't think that happens. I think between now and Saturday night's main event, there's probably just a straight up rematch between Punk and Sami Zayn, and then Sami just loses, and then Cody comes out and says, oh, by the way, I'm still here. Let's make this dance happen. So that's how I think it's probably gonna wind up. But it's just again like they're like stuck in a little calendar thing, and I think just to kind of we were talking before about the Punk and CM, well actually I don't want to jump ahead because I think you might address it later. So that's how I think it's going to happen. But I have a theory of what's going to happen after SummerSlam. We'll get to later.
Okay, Nick, how are you feeling about Sami Zayn potentially being involved in this, if he is at all?
I don't think he will. Roy and I have our former gambler brethren chat that we're talking wrestling, and I think it was Luke Arcady who posited could it be a fatal 4-way with Sami and Gunther, in there, and I don't think that would be like the second option I would think that they would do, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's Punk and Cody, and I think it should be Punk and Cody because I'm not like, if you're going to have Punk versus Cody, that needs to be like 1-on-1. You don't need more bodies in there for that. If you want to do that this year, then do that this year, but it's gonna, if you do it again, it's gonna have to be some type of stipulation. But if you're gonna have those two in a match against each other for like the first time, I think it's always got to be 1-to-1, just based on their name value.
I agree. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see what happens eventually with this. Here's my one big question. This is, I guess we can get into your point, Roy, about what happens next, right?
Well, let me ask you a quick question. Let me ask you a quick question before. Well, both you guys. All right, so let's say it's 1-on-1. Those guys at SummerSlam. What does Sami Zayn do at SummerSlam? Like
who knows?
like he doesn't.
He could be off the card.
Right, he has no logical opponent at this point, right? If it's neither one of those guys, then his logical opponent's not there.
Yeah,
right.
No,
so
I feel like if he got left off the card,
that'd be a little weird.
He can't be a ref, right?
I mean,
no one's going to trust
that.
him to do that.
They've done that. I can easily see them doing it. That might be the play. That might be the way they do it.
Who would Nick Aldis or Adam Pearce really have a real reason, like a kayfabe reason that this makes sense? Let's put Sami in there as a referee. It would just make them look really, really stupid and kayfabe.
Well, Nick Aldis is probably going to have a match at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
so.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's getting ready, I think, for to get back in the ring. But yeah, I feel like if they left Sami Zayn off the card, he'd be getting done dirty in that sense. Like it would feel like it at least.
Yeah, it would definitely feel like that.
It would feel like, even if it's not reality, it just feels like, wait a second, you just had him run, get the title run, and he only held it for 9 days. Then you leave him off the card. It felt like you just kind of used him as a means to an end instead of like trying to further his career. You know what I'm saying? Like
what if he just pulls up a chair and watches it from ringside, like the entire match, never gets involved, but like he's on screen. You know, like if he's on screen in some capacity, even if he's not wrestling, I think it could work. You know, given if the story makes sense and it's like, okay, like maybe after this there's something there for Sami. But yeah, if he's not involved wrestling, I definitely think he needs to be involved somehow. Maybe he goes on commentary. I don't know, but I don't know how that would work or how, you know, just he needs to. I think it'll be like his full blown heel turn. That I mean, I don't know how whoever thinks he's not like a full blown heel anymore. I mean, he is to me, but maybe one like that main event, either maybe during the match or after the match. Maybe he gets involved somehow and cements that.
Yeah, that's a good. I think that's a feasible idea in that he could be left off the card technically, but he's still on the card because he interferes in this match, and we don't get a winner to this big one-on-one encounter. They still get the one-on-one match they want, and Sami Zayn gets to be on the show somehow and be mad about the fact that he's off the card. That could be a storyline, a plot point for Sami Zayn, and he ruined this match because he wasn't on the card, and that. Somehow, maybe he finagles his way into a triple threat match, maybe at a later date, just not SummerSlam, because we want Punk and Cody to be the main event at SummerSlam.
We got another Saturday night's main event in September. So,
jeez.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Roy, what was your theory about this? Did you have a theory about what happens next?
Yeah, so I think I think we're going to get the one-on-one match, and I think this theory that this working theory that we're kind of putting together in real time kind of makes sense. Like Sami Zayn to be the interfere in this match somehow. I think Punk's going to retain because I think they're going to get that belt. Well, they don't want Cody to have the belt when he goes on his like Street Fighter promo tour. So I think probably what happens is like Sami like interferes in the match. And then he just like stomps out Cody after the match, goes on like some kind of rant, like you didn't think I could do it or blah, 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 or whatever. So you can write Cody off of TV for a little bit, and then Punk and Zayn can have their little I guess battles for the next couple of months while Cody's away. That's the way I think they're going to try to book this, which would make sense to me. So that's what I kind of expect to happen at SummerSlam.
Okay.
I could actually see Sami beating Punk for the title if that's the case too.
Yeah, like in September, October, whenever they run it back. Yeah, like have Sami win then. Like that's fine, and have him give him a nice little couple.
Pins Cody and then he pins Punk. How about that?
I can see that happening. I can see Punk being okay with that, and I can see WWE being okay with it. Like, all right, we'll give you another month or two title reign here, Sami. You might win it here, but you're not going to WrestleMania. You might not make it to the Rumble. All right,
might not make the Rumble exactly.
Enjoy your 2 weeks, sir. But no, Sami Zayn is still, again, a former WWE champion. Can't take it away from him. But
the one with all the lineage too.
Yes,
the
exactly.
OG.
Not the one they created because Roman Reigns didn't want to work that much. The one that Roman Reigns has now. So his title, essentially.
They couldn't just split his back, even though they, whatever.
No, you got an undisputed title on one show and another world championship is
so they have
on
3
equal footing.
technically, right?
Who the hell knows? I just know that WWE does not know what the word undisputed means. That's just
right.
That word is scribbled out in the dictionary all throughout WWE. Because if you did, there wouldn't be a second title. But whatever. Speaking of WWE, I wanted to ask this question because I've seen some discourse about this and that WWE is relying on a lot of the same names over and over again. And I think there's some validity to that. I mean, we got CM Punk just strolls right back in and wins the championship, almost like the part-timers he complained about back in the day. That's funny how that worked out.
But he's not a part-timer.
He pretty much was. He pretty much is. When he can take
he took a vacation.
2 months off
Everybody
after.
takes vacation.
Okay. Well,
wrestlers do that.
I don't see
It wasn't 5
too
months.
many more full-time runs in CM Punk's future. And he just
he's
strolled
getting
back
out of
in.
the way.
I guess. But he just strolled back in to win the title night one from a person who had just won it. It sounds like something CM Punk would have complained about back in 2012 to me. But I digress. Does WWE have an issue here, though? because we got Roman Reigns still at the top of the card. We got Seth Rollins still at the top of the card. We got Cody Rhodes. We got CM Punk. And it's not 2024. It is 2026. And sure, it's 2 years, only 2 years since at least, CM Punk has come back. But Roman Reigns has been on top for how long? Seth Rollins, how long? And Cody, since pretty much he came back. And he came back in 2022. So we're now over 4 years of this American Nightmare run. Does WWE have an issue with a lot of familiar faces and names at the top of the card? Nick, what do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. SummerSlam 2026 and Braun Breaker is a tag team champion. Like, at least he's a champion, I guess. But he needed to be in a marquee match by this point.
He won the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam 2 years ago,
that's
right?
True. Yeah.
Wasn't it in Cleveland when he won it?
Yeah.
He beat Sami Zayn for it. Or something like right? Yeah, okay. I'm just making sure I'm not tripping. Yeah, he beat Sami Zayn for it. And I felt like that was him arriving at that moment.
Right.
And now it's been 2 years, like you said. Now he's a tag team champion. What's going on here?
Like
you don't even care about the titles.
It's my biggest gripe right now in WWE. But not only that, you had Seth Rollins give a promo last night that made him look really, really bad. And then LA Knight come out and like kind of take over his spotlight, and just the fans were behind LA Knight. Like I know LA Knight's had like a cup of coffee in like the main event before. What was it, against Roman? I think
against Roman. He got a title shot, yeah,
and that was it. Like
that was it. Though.
He kind of deserves more. Like he needs to be in that upper echelon, but just because of the reaction he gets. He's not terrible in the ring. I know he makes mistakes like everyone else, but like I think he's earned that too. So not even having him in the mix of like main events is just like again, the same people, and you can only write storylines and angles for the same people so many times before people just get fans get tired of it. And I mean, I watch it out of habit, but it doesn't always mean that I'm interested in what I'm watching. So that's really something they need to figure out. Especially like you said, 2 years ago, it felt like Braun's breaking out party. No pun intended. And now we're 2 years later, and like I think he's been the biggest miss. I know the injury earlier this year didn't help him, but I mean, like he comes back and you just job him out to Seth Rollins 2 out of 3 times. Like that's like his first win against him didn't mean anything at this point. So that's like the stuff where you really need to start building towards like what is the top of the card going to look like in 2027. And I don't feel like we're any closer to a new crop yet. Oba is the guy, but that's it.
Yeah.
Roy, how you feel about this?
No, it's like Nick's right. I mean, like again, you look, it's the same guys and it's the same same older generation. Like I saw like a stat or a tweet or something.
We need the new generation.
Basically,
like 95.
It's like since COVID, like every champion has been like over 40 except for Big E, right? Like all the guys, all the people who've had that particular belt, the Drew McIntyres, the Ortons, Lesnar, Roman, Bobby Lashley, like Cody, all those guys, John Cena, like they're all over 40, right? So it's like we're like recycling the same dudes over and over and over, and like you have to start building. Like you have some, you got some young talented guys on the roster, or even not even young talented guys, just guys who, guys who just haven't been able to, he haven't put in that spot yet. Like a Chad Gable, who probably should have been in that spot at some point before. Like it's time to start pushing these guys. Like how many years was was the Elimination Chamber? Like I forget which one, when like we all thought Montez Ford was going to be the next big thing.
Oh man, that was like 2022.
Yeah, I was about to say like 21, 22.
23 maybe?
And they didn't even pull the trigger on, they haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. I mean, like if you...
I don't know if they ever will with Montez at this point.
Right. I mean, if you really wanted to pull the trigger on Logan Paul, like I wouldn't hate it because it's something different, right? It's just like it's just the same stuff. It's like, come on, man. Like
it's also different, but in a good way because we know these guys, like almost everyone on the roster can have a good match. So it's not like you're pushing somebody like a Goldberg in '97 WCW who's still green a little bit and doesn't know his way around a ring that well. A lot of these guys do. So what's the holdup?
I don't know. I think I hear what you're saying about the experience factor. I think that's the reason why they are hesitant on certain people, or at least not really hesitant, but they're taking their time. Because Obafemi could, by all rights, I think he should be, the guy right now, but he's not that experienced. He looks great in the matches that he's had, but he's not been in those major spots yet with guys like a Seth Rollins or a CM Punk or Cody Rhodes. So Trick Williams is another guy. Like, great. I think he's got all the tools, but, not that experienced still. So I think that could be part of the reason why WWE is taking their time. But I agree with you in that there is a lot of sameness at the top. And 2 years is a long time in pro wrestling. Like, think about the 80s and 90s. And sure, there were more promotions and more turnover within those promotions back in the day, more so than you have now. But you didn't see the same names at the top of the card for 2 years running, basically. Now, we've had Gunther, we've had John Cena, and, you can throw in an extra name here and there, but it's been, and Jey Uso, too, can't forget him, he's world champion. But it's been Roman Reigns since 2015, 14 with Roman Reigns. Same with Seth Rollins, essentially, throughout the runs. And, of course, Punk since 24 and Cody since 22. So we got a lot of years among those 4 guys, just in general, in that particular spot. You can run the risk of just running your product stale and having an over-reliance on these guys and making your next generation of guys look like chumps when they lose to these guys too often. Like, Oba, he's been so far so good, but like you said, Braun Breaker, that's a tough one right now. That's a real tough one right now.
I also think Gunther's really tough, too.
Oh, man.
What happened to him?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
And he was a guy that you would have thought, like, the way they were pushing him in 24 and 25, that he's cemented. He's locked in as a main eventer. Like,
Right.
And I don't know anymore. Like, I'm not sure the way they booked him lately. So it's not even about the age. It's about the newness of the faces. Because, like, LA Knight, he's over 40, I believe.
He's 40-something, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like you're trying to inject youth necessarily, but you're trying to inject newness, a fresh coat of paint. And you got to, get these people working with a Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins or Cody Rhodes or CM Punk. I know CM Punk has done them. When he was on Raw consistently, he would work with a lot of different people. He would defend the title and stuff like that. But like you said, they need to be in those main event spots sometimes too, in those big shows. And maybe there's an over-reliance on some of these bigger names because TKO was like they had to sell tickets. Because, I just saw a report not too long ago where SummerSlam tickets aren't moving that great. So it's like, let's get the biggest names possible so we can sell tickets. We know how, when it comes to some slow ticket sales, how desperate TKO can get. They'll reach out to Pat McAfee if they need to. They'll do it. Don't tempt them.
Oh,
all right. They'll come up with a story in 10 minutes that will get Pat McAfee in the show. And look, big name, right? And, the tickets ain't moving. Look, call up Travis Scott. Let's just get somebody else. Come on, somebody.
Lil Yachty.
Yeah, Lil Yachty. Somebody. Sexy Red, come on down. Sell some tickets. But I think maybe that's part of it. But I think there is a time, maybe after SummerSlam. But I don't think so, because I don't see Roman Reigns losing that title anytime soon. Probably not before WrestleMania at this point. Especially because Obafemi just doesn't want to be champion now. And I envision the Cody, CM Punk, and maybe even Sami Zayn and Gunther kind of deal on SmackDown lasting a while. And we don't know when Drew McIntyre's coming back. So he can be involved in something, at the top of the card and somewhere. He's another guy that's been around for a while. He hasn't been around in a while because he's been off TV, but he's been on top for a while is what I'm saying. So it is interesting times in WWE where you can see they are transitioning in new talent, and they have a lot of talent that has potential of being top stars, but they're not quite there yet because there's a lot of people in the way. And that includes people, like I said, LA Knight or even Bronson Reed when he comes back. I feel like he should be in a pay-per-view main event at some point. Bronson Reed is great. But, we'll see. We'll see what happens there with that. But I agree with you guys as far as something needing to change at the top of the card, name-wise at the top of the card. Speaking of change in WWE, though, let's shift gears to somebody who is departing WWE. One of those older, more familiar names exiting the premises of WWE, and that is Sheamus, who after many, many years with the promotion would not renew his contract, and I think has already been moved to the alumni section of WWE.com. So apparently the word on the street is that, or the reports are, that he was offered a restructured deal and he turned it down. and now he is, or will be eventually, I don't know if there's a 90-day compete clause in there, but he will be a free agent, free to do and wrestle wherever he wants. But yeah, Roy, Sheamus no longer being in WWE. You have thoughts on this?
I'm a little sad, like it's like Sheamus. Like, I think he still has a little something left in the tank, and I know he never got the Grand Slam. Was never able to finish the Grand Slam. Would have liked him to see him do that because again, he seemed like a good soldier. He seemed like a guy who was kind of down for, whatever they threw at him. I would have loved to see him against guys like like Obafemi, obviously. I don't think he ever fought Bronson Reed. Would like to see that too, but. If he winds up going to AEW and if we get, the Bar back together, I'm all right with that. I like the Bar. Like the Bar, very underrated tag team. Like throw him back with Cesaro. Let them cook for a little bit. I'd be down for that.
I think I'd be down for that too. But Nick, Sheamus exiting WWE.
I agree. A lot of my favorite Sheamus moments came with Cesaro. But I'm not surprised. I don't exactly know how much he has left either to give. Like he's done so much for so long that I'm kind of like if he feels like it's enough, maybe that's why I'm. Is he? I think he's injured. I saw. I don't know. So I don't know what exactly he would do. Again, I guess the Grand Slam, right? That's might be the one thing left that they can make a story out of, but it's not going to happen. So yeah, it's a little bumming that Sheamus has just been like so interesting. I think during the course of his career because he's like had so many appearance changes and just at some point he's just like I don't even care about a character. I'm a fighter and I'm a brawler and like. That's what he was known for, and people loved it.
The brawling brutes.
Yeah, like that. Like people
it's
just love him.
5'9" on SmackDown, Michael.
Like he just comes out and heavyweight fights, and then that's it, and banger after banger after banger
after banger.
So that he was entertaining. He was this. I was sports entertained by Sheamus quite a bit during his career. So I'll be bummed that, even if he does not go to AEW or do any of that stuff, I'm glad that we were able to witness a lot of what he did. He became WWE champion. He beat John Cena. It's just wild that you didn't think that would have happened in 2009. I remember being like, what? We talk about new names.
Hell is this pale
we talk
guy?
about new names like at the top of the card. It was funny. We were saying the same thing in 2009 about John Cena, and then Sheamus won, and I remember going, really?
This guy.
I was one of those guys, but maybe that helped him out too in the long run.
I'm sure it did.
I hope he's healthy. I hope he's happy, and just good luck to him.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next. But I have a lot of thoughts about Sheamus and his departure because Sheamus, as you mentioned, has been around for a long time in the developmental. I think he's been with the company since like 06, 07 if you count developmental.
It's been like 20 years or something, yeah.
Which is insane, man. Like one of the longest tenured wrestlers on the roster, I'm sure. Might be him and The Miz. The Miz is around during the Ruthless Aggression era. Yeah, I forgot about Orton too. Yeah, but Miz is full time pretty much. He's on almost every show. Now he's one of Danhausen's experiments.
He's got to be one that definitely took the pay cut, right?
It seems, bro. If he wasn't offered the restructure, I would have been surprised. All right.
Yeah.
Because it feels like that's a guy who is, they're not putting at the top of the card anymore. But we like you, so. But that's my thing with this whole Sheamus deal is that Sheamus been around for 2 decades. He's giving you everything he's got for 2 decades. Beat himself up. He's giving you banger after banger after banger after banger all over the world, especially when WWE is traveling 250, 300 days a year all around the world, rarely seeing their families or their significant others, whoever, rarely sleeping in their own beds, right? And then for WWE, which does not have a salary cap, it's not the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where you hear about people, like we've said this before, they're giving guys pay cuts or restructured deals. That means they're taking a pay cut generally. Or if you're the Eagles, you're converting a salary into a bonus. You're cashing them out so you can take the salary off the salary cap books. It's a common practice, right? It's not like it's an unknown thing. People know about it. I'm not breaking news here. But that's because you work with the restrictions of a salary cap. You have to stay within the salary cap or you pay penalties. WWE does not have a system like that. There's no salary cap. They're not working with a limited budget. Mm-hmm. They're making record revenues every year. And they're not afraid to tell you that. How much money they make year over year, quarter over quarter. And yet they're offering people restructured deals, which usually means pay cuts. And I laugh, but it's absurd to me. You just signed a guy. I was reading things from Yahoo. I got it right here. He signed a 5-year deal in 2023. TKO signed that deal. That was a TKO deal.
Yeah.
You knew how old he was then. You gave him that money. Now, granted, he's been hurt. He's been banged up. Obviously, I don't know what they were projecting back then, but I don't think you're going to make him a main eventer back in 2023. 3 years ago, I wouldn't have projected Sheamus to be champion again. Would you have? Would you guys have done that?
No,
not world champion.
So you gave a guy who's over 40 5 years, which I would also say was like, did you have to give him that many years? But at whatever money he signed for, you thought that he was worth at that point. And now you're telling him to take a pay cut. I don't blame Sheamus whatsoever for saying, deuces, I'm out.
Nope,
I'm good. I think I'm all right. I don't want to devalue myself when it comes to that. Also, he probably, I feel like it's almost a slap in the face. And maybe it's not meant that way. I understand it's business and you got to do what you got to do. And also understand from WWE standpoint, he's a little bit older. We're not using him to that level anymore. So he might as well take a pay cut. But it just feels like you don't have to. You're just trying to save money wherever you can. You know what I'm saying? Again, NFL teams that are working within the salary cap, they have to do these things. They suck. Cap casualties happen every offseason, and they are not fun. I'm sure the teams don't love doing it, but they have to stay under the salary cap. That's not the case for WWE. So I understand that they have a certain budget for their roster and whatnot, but do you really need a budget for your roster? When you're making record revenues?
Not to defend them, because I don't want to defend the billionaires, but again, they still have to answer to the shareholders, right? And the shareholders.
That's true, about, and I get all that,
profits, right? So
it just feels like
yeah, they're making record revenue. You think they have enough money to give the New Day a decent contract, right? Give Sheamus a decent contract. Give some of these at least long-term legacy people. Look, they fired R-Truth and brought him back, right? Because to them, a lot of these guys, if they're not being used all the time, are just line items on a spreadsheet, right? And
I get that. I understand
and
that.
They shouldn't be, and they shouldn't be, but. On some level, they're if you ask Nick Khan, why'd you tell Sheamus to restructure his contract? He's like, well, we're paying him X and he's not wrestling, and we gotta, show, that we made $5 a share this year, so we gotta cut money from somewhere. That's gonna be the logic.
I wonder if Nick Khan would agree to a restructured contract though.
Absolutely not. He's making crazy money. He's making tons of money.
He's making more money than the wrestlers, I think.
He is, yeah. He's making tens of millions of dollars. He's making crazy, So
as far as we know, there aren't a ton of people on the roster making seven figures. I mean, I'm sure there are a good amount, but that's not the entire roster as far as we know. We don't know the exact figures because they don't report wrestler salaries. But based on what has been reported and what has been rumored, we can assume that not everybody is making millions in WWE. There's some 100,000-daires in WWE, which is good money. Don't get me wrong, but
sure,
that's probably still not as much as you should be making for all the revenue that WWE generates. And this 100%. Is the problem when you don't have collective bargaining, so you can't get a cut of that revenue. They they determine how much of the revenue they give you. You know what I'm saying? Where if you are in the NBA or the NFL, you can collectively bargain how much of the revenue, not the profit. I know that was a big thing with the WNBA. They don't turn a profit. Doesn't matter. Whatever revenue they get,
it's not their fault.
Whatever revenue they get, it's not the player's fault that the owners spend too much money.
Right.
Okay. whatever revenue we generate, we get a cut of that. And for a lot of leagues, not the WNBA, unfortunately, but for a lot of leagues, it's 51-49.
Right.
51 for the owners, 49 for the players. And it might be in favor of the players in some leagues. Like maybe I don't know if
NFL might be I think NFL might be in favor of the players, yeah.
Ooh, if it is, that's news to me because I feel like those owners would be fighting tooth and nail to keep that 51-49. I feel like it's maybe the NBA. I don't know.
I know one of the leagues is like it is in favor of players, yeah.
Right. So either way, you're looking at 51-49. Okay, as far as whether it's for the players or for the owners, that's the split there. So whatever money we generate, it goes 49% of that goes to the players first, and they distribute however it's distributed. I don't know how that's done, but that's how it goes. WWE doesn't have that deal, so they can just say you're not worth this much anymore, and that's it. Based on what metrics? Y'all making more money now, so I feel like I'm worth something.
Right.
No. And that's it. That's the end of the conversation. Yeah. So that's the tough part. That's the tough part for me that when I hear that. But at the end of the day, Sheamus, he had a great career in WWE. I mean, you almost couldn't ask for a better career outside of winning the IC title, I guess, which is, like you said, the one title that has eluded him throughout his career. And the one title that he really genuinely wanted, apparently, as he grew up a big wrestling fan, loving the Intercontinental Championship. Haven't we all at one point in our wrestling fandom? So understandable that that's a bummer there. But outside of that, man, multi-time world champion, won a Royal Rumble, won King of the Ring, won U.S. titles, won tag titles, was in main events, was in big matches, was on WrestleMania many times over, and I would assume is a lock for the Hall of Fame one day. They might put him in next year if he retires. If Sheamus want to go in the Hall of Fame, retire today because WWE like, we need you for the Hall of Fame. Come in right now. Let's go. You got any friends? Who else? So yeah, kudos to Sheamus. I'm excited to see what's next for him. I think anywhere he goes, he'd be an asset because it was a joy watching his matches in WWE for all these years. And I'm sure he probably held back because of WWE style. If he liked bangers in WWE, imagine what he can do in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Somebody might get knocked out. Somebody might get put to sleep, So who knows? But I'm excited to see what he does next. But any other thoughts from you guys on Sheamus and his departure from WWE?
And I'm glad we have Roy on. You know how in fantasy football they have the no-cut lists where you can't drop, no drop. Sheamus, they should have one in WWE. Sheamus should be on there. The New Day should have been on there. You just ride out the rest of their contract and then you negotiate the Legends deal.
Right.
What's the bad part of that? It's if you're worried about your image, I guess they're not worried about their image, right?
They don't care. They don't care anymore.
But don't you want good PR? Wouldn't any company want good PR and be like, hey, we treat our talent right. You should come here.
No, we make money for our shareholders. That's our fiduciary responsibility. That's it. I feel like I've said this multiple times on this podcast. TKO took over WWE, and that if you thought WWE was a corporate entity before, wait till you see this private. Well, not really private. It's private equity, but wait till you see what TKO has got in store for you. This is the business of corporate business. You know what I'm saying? We don't think of this as like human beings and we're a family and this person is good for the morale of the locker room or they deserve this. Right. We're not even going to give them a gold watch. No, get out. Or take this pay cut. Take this as what was reported 50%, as much as 50% pay cuts for apparently some of these talents. That's insane. I don't care if you are making $4 million and you go down to $2 million. 50% is 50%. I don't care. I don't know anybody that's okay with a 50% pay cut. I don't care what you do. I don't care how rich you are. Nobody's signing up for that. Maybe if you're somebody. I'm sure somebody signed up for it in WWE.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure somebody. Yeah, somebody.
It's not fun.
Go to 2, right. Yeah, you don't love it.
It's not fun. Yeah. You might have to cut back. You might not get a yacht this year. You might have to cut back. You know what I'm saying? You might have to cut back a little bit if you go from 4 to 2. Sorry. But it still sucks. You know what I'm saying? It still sucks. So I'm just never a fan of that type of stuff. But
yeah, and just to kind of dovetail off that real quick, like, and TKO again, like they're heartless and whatever, but they know, you know, if they get rid of Sheamus, you know, if they get rid of the New Day, if they get rid of R-Truth or whatever, they're still going to fill out these buildings, right? They're still going to fill out. They're still going to sell these PLEs. They're still going to get this money from Saudi Arabia to put on, like, you know, all these PLEs overseas. You know, they're going to move. They're having WrestleMania next year, over in Saudi Arabia, because they're getting paid a basket of money, and it doesn't matter who's on the roster, right? As long as you have like Roman Reigns and like Seth Rollins, and like you could fill out the card, they're going to make gobs of money. So they're like, it doesn't really matter, right? Like we'll just cut as much as you want. Because you guys are still going to turn on Netflix on Monday, and you're still going to turn on, you know, SmackDown on Friday. So, like, we can do whatever we want. Like, it's cold, it's heartless. Like Nick said, like, there should be some no-cut guys. Like every locker room needs a few OGs around just to kind of, like, you know, keep things going. But I mean, like you know, if you told TKO, I was like, hey man, you can save $1 million like tomorrow if you like fired like Natalia. They probably do it in a second. You know, like,
heartbeat.
Just heartless. You know. But
Natalia being the first thing smoking back to Calgary.
First thing smoking. First thing smoking back to that dungeon. But, you know. Yeah, so like I hate to see it, but even like you said, Vaughn, it's the business of doing business, right? Like that's just the way corporate America is these days. And we're gonna see a lot more of it. You know?
It's an ugly business. And to your point, dovetail off of your point, they also still get the talent that want to work there. They will replace a Sheamus with another person and snap of a finger, because there's still plenty of talent down there in the NXT and the Performance Center. There's so many people who are in wrestling, who are starving artists, starving wrestlers who want that opportunity because they want to get paid. Yeah, Sheamus got his money. I ain't worried about him. I need to get my money. So I'm going to go there because that's where I can get the most money. Mm-hmm. Or you got people who aren't wrestlers, who aren't diehards, you know, and they're working their butt off in the independents. They're athletes. They're like Obafemi. They did shot put, right? And they don't know about the whole wrestling business and how they can kind of discourage you at times and whatnot. They don't know about that. They don't care. They like, I'm going to succeed, so I'm going to go and do this, and this is what I can do for a living, make good money, so I'm going to go do it. So that's why it's good to have variety as far as promotions. It's good to have more than one, so the wrestlers have options. Yep. So Sheamus, he can just say deuces and go to AEW if he wanted to. Maybe 10 years ago, he wouldn't have made that decision.
Right.
Maybe he would have taken that pay cut and stuck around for a little while. But now he can say, I got options. And he's got to be options probably beyond wrestling. He'll probably do TV or movies or something like that. It's not like Sheamus is unfamiliar with that. So it's good for him to be in a position that he can have hopefully a bunch of money saved up. And he's earned a bunch of money. Just got married not too long ago. He could just relax and make his next move at his own pace. I think that's pretty cool for him. But let's wrap it up here for episode 470. Roy, what you got to plug at the end of this episode of The Straight Shooters?
You can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at the BS Line. Everything that I'm kind of involved in, I'll be posted there. At the end of this month, the last week of July, I will be on with Derek Bodner for the entire week, doing the Sixers PHLY Sixers podcast. A couple guys taking vacation, so me and Derek Bodner are going to chop it up on all things Jaylen Brown and maybe figure out where Bronny James fits in with the second unit once LeBron
Man, we didn't even talk about that.
With the team. Yeah. So you want to talk some Sixers?
Wait, hold on. You said where Bronny fits in?
I said where Bronny fits in with the second unit once LeBron gets here. So
because if LeBron coming, Bronny is coming with him.
Exactly. So if you want to chop it up, all things Sixers, again, catch me on the PHLI Sixers podcast this final week of July. Me and Derek Bodner every day at 3 p.m.
Man, we didn't even talk about the Jaylen Brown trade. That was insane. Wait a second crazy. Now. Crazy. I was in the middle of – I was at work at the office that particular day, and then we had a gym, in the building that we can use. And I'm like, I'm done work for the day, so I'm going to go to the gym. And then, psych, had to run back upstairs to not break the news. The news was broken by Shams, but to get on that, because that's insane. The Sixers might be good next year. Might be better than the 7 seeds.
It's always funny when you don't get the notification yet from any of your apps about the trade, but your texts are going wild, and it's just
Right,
everybody
right.
going, Gansey, Mike, like just just that, like not even, hey, Jaylen Brown was traded to the Sixers. It's just like Gansey. So like I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, the Sixers obviously made a move. Let's see what it is.
Right.
I was just like, oh, that seems important.
That's shocking. Shocking is important. Is it as important as it is shocking that they traded Jaylen Brown to the Sixers for Paul George?
Yeah. How about that?
And what might be some non-lottery draft picks, like what should be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
How
2
about
firsts
that?
and 2 seconds.
2 firsts,
right?
2 seconds. Some swaps, possibly in one of those firsts, but yeah.
If there's one team that could flip those picks in like bona fide stars, it'd be the Celtics. But still not a great deal on the surface, on paper. But Nick, how about you take us out with some plugs, please?
You can follow me at _Pacone on Twitter and TikTok, and on Blue Sky, I'm at Pacone and at Pacone Nick on Threads. Hey, those Phillies clips or any Philly sports teams clips, Posing Radio Spanish, that's where you can find them. And you can find me at the Inquirer and this past Sunday. So that is also like we have some gift links too that we've posted out. So I'll put one on our Twitter feed, so you guys can check that out if you so desire. Because that was really cool. Once again, thanks to Vaughn and the great guys.
Don't thank me. I didn't have nothing to do with it. I told you earlier.
No,
Nobody
just
told me nothing.
The hype.
Vaughn.
The hype and everything.
That's
Appreciate
fair.
you
I
for
do
that.
social media, so I did
yeah.
distribute get the story out on
Yeah.
social. But no, I didn't.
Yeah,
nothing
not
to do
that
with the
you
story
put it
putting
together or anything. No.
I didn't edit nothing. I had nothing to do with it.
So just appreciate all the love, always. You can also follow us at Shooters Radio. We're on YouTube. Hey, we're on TikTok now. So putting some of those shorts on TikTok, getting some traction there. So give us a follow there as well. On Facebook,
Keep them comments coming.
/Shooters Radio. Got over 100,000. No. 1,000 followers, which that's like a 1,000% increase maybe than what we had about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So appreciate the love on Facebook. Continue commenting and follow us on Facebook as well. We're on Twitter at Shooters Radio, and then Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads. Check those out. We're posting the reels and everything, and try to continue doing it. As consistently as possible. So please follow us on those platforms. And for all the platforms we're on for the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc., check out the rest of those platforms at shootersradio.com. It'll give you an entire list of podcast apps. So, whatever is your favorite list, just go to shootersradio.com. What your favorite app is going to be there that you can listen to us. So please check that out.
Check it
And
out. Also,
crossingbroad.com as well for my writing.
Can't forget them too. Crossing Broad. Also, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/shootersradio, where you can request a future deep dive. And if you request it, not only will we fulfill the request, but you can make a cameo on the show that we're diving deep into. Again, patreon.com/shootersradio. I'm at Vaughn M. Johnson on X, at Vaughn Johnson on many other platforms. Instagram at Vaughn Johnson 166. I should change my handle one day. I don't like my handle anymore, I don't think. But that's I'm just me talking out loud now, thinking out loud. You always talk out loud, I guess. I've gone off track, if you can tell. But you can check us out again.
It's like that AJ Brown
check me out.
story.
Yeah. But you can check me out on those platforms, all those social platforms. And, of course, check out Nick's story about Nick, I should say, on Inquirer.com, written by the incomparable Matt Breen. Again, Inquirer.com. And if you want to go to the sports section, it could be Inquirer.com/sports. Look at that. Look how we did that. Yeah. But for Roy Burton and Nick Pacone, my name is Vaughn Johnson. Thanks for listening to episode 470 of The Straight Shooters, and we'll catch y'all again next week.
Peace.
Hey, Clavis! Wake up! The show's over. Oh, yeah! Kick it!